And I'm thinking about the consequences of fear. And right now, as I speak here, many of you are thinking about fears in your life. You may not have heard them up on stage, but you're thinking. It's in your head right now. You're reliving a story from when you were young. You're thinking about something that you have to face in the future. You're thinking about something else. And we all deal with fears. Fears are debilitating. Fears will stop you in your tracks. Many people have dreams. They want to be rich. They want successful families. They want successful relationships. They want. But what stops us? Fear. So many dreams never get started because of fear. And I'm telling you, boy, I could never face the responsibility of the world in my hands with a nuclear reactor. It's not just those men on those ships that could die, but it's a great part of the world that could be blown up with nuclear weapons. I'm telling you, when I face the unknown, I'm scared. Yes, I am an NBA ball player. Yes, I've achieved things that people dream of. Yes, I've been able to make a lot of money. And you know, when I was a young boy, not only did I want to play in the NBA, but I wanted to preach. I wanted to speak. I wanted to inspire people. And I got that opportunity. I've been in 50 countries. Can you imagine? Most people put down one of the things they want to do when they retire is what? Travel. I'm so tired of traveling, I don't even want to get on the airplane. You know, if that's your thing, that's okay. But I've lived those dreams. About 4 years ago, 2000, came to the realization that as a preacher, I'd gone off in 1990 and I retired from the NBA to go into preaching. And I spent the next 10 years as a world missions leader, as we call them. My neck of the woods to evangelize or plant the word, if you will, with the Middle East. I was raised Sunni Muslim, so I had experience with the Islamic faith. And so I was there, and it went well. Planted over 40 churches. Here's a poor kid from the ghettos of Chicago. Now I'm speaking to kings and queens. I'm in services and there are Nelson Mandela or Mother Teresa or Jimmy Carter and on and on. It was humbling. I couldn't believe what was happening to me. Here it was, facing the year 2000. With the potential divorce, separation, ideals blown, not knowing the future. I had to step away from those ministries because I had made a vow that if my life didn't match what I was teaching, I had to sit down. And I did that. But what came with that was the unknown. And my faith was challenged because I served a God that I felt like it felt me. Talk about scared. You ever put your faith into something and it turned out not to be real? I was terrified. And I had to figure out what I was going to do. I could quit. I get fuel. As James said, I could figure out how to make this impact my life or destroy my life. I decided I was going to deal with it. You know, my biggest fear was now, I'm out of the ministry, I'm not playing basketball, I'm too old, I'm not running by nobody, these kids are getting bigger and faster, I wasn't going to do anything. What can I do? My corporate America experience was done. That was early on in life. And I was scared. And now I was a single father, which was my biggest fear. I had 4 kids. 3 of them were girls. Girls with massive hair. You know? And I remember the first time that I had to go and comb that hair, and it terrified me. I remember having my little girl sit there between my legs. She's trying to squirm out. I said, no, come back here. And she's running, and I'm combing hair, and I'm doing this. And the other kids are sitting around in the living room going, oh, my God, he's going to kill her. And then when I finished that first hairdo, I said, what have I done? Consequently, I've been on the quest for a wife ever since. You know, another fear I had is when I was an NBA ball player, right? My first year in the league. I get there, you know, my first year I didn't play a whole lot. I was a rookie. I sat there on the bench. And so I got in the habit of sitting down. And my coach, Lenny Wilkins, which is a Hall of Fame coach, he once called on me and he said, Blackwell. I was shocked because I hadn't been playing. He says, you're going in the game. I said, I am. He says, and guess what? I want you to guard Dr. J. Now, if you don't know who Dr. J is, he might be one of the most famous names in the NBA. He's definitely legendary and Hall of Famer. I said, this guy must be crazy. He's sitting me in there. I stood next to Doctor. Doctor looked real big at that point. And I just stood there. One of my other teammates, Jack Sigma, came in. He said, boom! Get your head together. I mean, he hit me so hard. And I looked at the doctor. I jumped down the stairs. The ball hadn't even come to play. And I'm like this. Referee still has the ball. I'm like this. You know? I was terrifying. I was playing against my idol. As I said earlier, many of you have fears. We all across the board, there are many things that scare us. But I've learned this. And listen to it. Because it can be humorous and it can be scary. But listen to it. Number one thing I had to do in all those situations, identify what I was afraid of. Identify it. The second thing I had to do, determine why I was afraid of it. And the most important thing I had to do was determine a why I was going to overcome it. See, I've got 4 little ones that depend on me. I've got people that have put their faith in me. I have to overcome it. So I turned fear when it had a grip on me. I gripped it back. I said, we're going to wrestle, but I'm going to win because I have the faith. I'm no longer going to be afraid of the unknown. And I'm going to take responsibility for where I'm going. And friends, let me tell you this morning. It's tough, but you've heard that acronym. Fear is false evidence appearing real. But the reality of it is, the only thing you have to fear, not the evidence, but the fear itself. Get rid of it inside of you. Deal with it. Find a why. And then your fear will become fuel for your dreams. Thank you very much.